Welcome to this tutorial, students. My name is Mrs. Duffy. Today I'm going to introduce to you TinkerCAD and how to get started. So your teacher by now should have given you a link to a website on TinkerCAD to join a classroom and would have given you a nickname. And when you log into TinkerCAD, you should be presented with the screen much like what you're looking at here at the moment. So getting started, the first thing we want to do is to create a new design. So here where it says create new design, we click on that link or that button. It opens up, we'll see a work area here in the center, and on the top left hand side we've got this cube view. And the first thing I want to point out to you is on the right here we've got all these basic shapes. And we're going to start by just simply dragging one shape onto our work area here. You don't have to actually click and hold it down. You should just be able to click once on the box and bring it over here and click it, put it onto our work area, our work plane. Once I put it down there, it's in place. The next thing you'll want to do is maybe look at it from different angles. So coming up here now, we've got a view cube up here, and if I click on that I can click and hold my mouse down and I can move it around and turn it around. You may just want to look at the top of it or the side of it, so there's those options as well. And if you get into this position you think, oh no, I want to get back to where I started, we just click on the little home icon there. The next thing I wanted to show you is right, I've got an object and I want to make a different object. So I'm coming over here now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece out of this cube. I'm going to use a cylinder, and because I'm going to take it out, I'm going to use what's called a hole. So I'm going to bring over this, oops, I dropped it in the wrong spot. And I only want to take out part of this cube, not all of it. So I'm just going to place it there like that. And if I want to look at the top of it, remember I can just click on the top and I can make sure that that's all lined up. It's not quite lined up where I want it, so I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard to line it up. That's a bit better. About there, that will do. Alright, so if I want to grab both of them now, I can just click in the top right hand corner and bring it down here. Another way I can move around in this environment is to use the right mouse button on my mouse and click on it and drag it, and that will allow me to also turn around look at it from different views. So I'm pretty happy with that. I've got a cylinder and I've got a square, and I'm going to take that cylinder out of that square. So in order to do that now, I'm going to select on the top right hand corner and I'm going to drag, and then I'm going to come up here to the group button and I'm going to group it. What we're going to see is it's going to actually take away that cylinder. It should do that for me, and it's just taking a moment to process. There we go. Let's look at it from the top. So I've taken it away. But you may not want to take it away, maybe you want to add to it. So I can undo what I've just done, undo it. And I'm just going to select that cylinder now, and instead of it being a hole, up here under the shape, I can now make it a solid. And I can use different colours as well, but it's likely your printer only prints in one colour, but it just helps you to see the different shapes that make up one whole shape. So I'm going to select all the pieces now. As I said, just click anywhere on your screen to the left or the right and drag it down with your mouse to select both objects, and then come up here and click on the group. Now remember, we can go back to home and we can see it from the home angle, so we can see it from a 3D perspective. We can just turn it around as well. The next thing is this one. Let's have a look at the dimensions of it. So as you can see, it's 31 millimeters in length and it's 20 millimeters in depth and width. So we can change any of these dimensions by clicking on them. So if I want to make it a bit shorter or a bit longer, let's make it 41. And then just press enter. You'll see that it makes it a little bit longer. Now it's quite high, and we can also adjust the height of this object as well by clicking on that box at the top. So if I click on that again, you'll see a little square at the top of it there, and that will show me the height of it, and I can alter that. I can make it 10 and press on enter. Great, now I've got this shape made up of two different shapes, but it's one whole shape. The next thing you probably want to do is, when you have a shape, is you want to take another shape out of it. So let's go and grab another shape that we might like. So I'm going to grab a star and come over here. Now it's way too big, so I'm going to have to make it smaller. So clicking on any of these little squares on the outside, and then go and change those. So let's make it, say, 15 and 15. And press enter. So it's a lot smaller now. And I can use my arrows to move it as well. Now remember, I said we want to take it away. So can you work out what we need to do? I showed you this tool before. It's the hole. We need to make that shape a hole. And if I click on hole now, it will make a hole, but I haven't grouped it yet. So click anywhere, drag down, and then group it. And we can have another look at it. So we can go and turn it around. So already you've learned a couple of really important things. We've got all these basic shapes over here that we can use and make life really easy for us. We can add a shape that is solid or a hole. We can also change the color of it. We can change the height of it and the width and all those measurements. So that little square at the top gives us the height, and these on the outside will show us the width and length, and we can change those as well. So let's make that 50, 50, like so forth. Now in this next step, I'm going to show you how to rotate an object. So I've got a ring here, and let's say I want to turn it so it's standing up. First of all, I want to get it into a position where I can view it better. So I'm just going to rotate my canvas and look at it side on like this. Or of course I can just use the left arrow there. Now with the object select, now you'll see the little curved arrow there. It shows a protractor for us. So what we do is we click on we have the object selected, and we click on that little arrow, circular arrow there, and we come up here and type in there how much we want to turn it. So if I want to turn it straight up and down, I turn it 90 degrees, and then you can see it's turned there. Now the interesting thing here, I'm just going to go back to the center view. You'll see that it's actually gone down through the middle of the work plane. And so that wouldn't work for us if when we go to print it. So what we need to do is move it above that plane. So what we do is come up to this arrow here at the very top, that little triangle. Click on that and we just drag it up. And you'll see this number over here at the moment, it's -12. As it's coming up, that will raise. And we want to get that to 0. So that puts us directly on the work plane there, which where we need it to print it. And of course we can go back to the home view there and you can turn it around. Okay, so I've turned it up that way, but let's say I want to turn this object, I want to turn it around that way. Again, need to get the best view of it for where you want to turn it. So I'm going to look from the top, and I want to turn it, in this case, 90 degrees. And you can see it's turned it that way. So the hardest thing to do is to decide which is the best angle I need to look at my object from. That's all you really have to worry about, and then select the object and use those arrows and make sure that your work remains on the work plane. Okay, in this next step, let's imagine that somehow you've got one of your objects up above the work plane there, and you need to align them so that they're lined up on the work plane. So what we do is we select both of the objects, and I can select them like that. The next icon I'm going to show you is the alignment icon on the top right there. And so if I click on that, now these are alignment handles, mean if I click on one of those, it'll align them all at the same spot. See, I've lined that point up there so they're even there. I could bring it down there and I can bring it down there. So that's alignment tool. It's very, very handy. Now because that's been moved, remember I need to move those back down. So I can use the triangle there and just bring it down until I see the zero over here. To your work. So in the top left hand corner there's a name for this project, and TinkerCAD gives them these weird and wonderful names. So what I'll get you to do is just click on that and give it a name. So let's just call this one Getting Started. And I'll click on that icon again, the TinkerCAD icon. It'll bring you back to your main dashboard where you'll be able to see your work, and your teacher will be able to access your work, and it'll be more meaningful for your teacher. The next step, I want to show you some more learning resources. So we go to the top right hand corner up to Learn and click on Lessons. This is a great little project. So if I come over to this one, for example, the Die from Scratch, if I click on that, it's only a single lesson. You should be able to do this, and click on the link there. And the instructions will be on the left. Because I've given you all those basic skills and sort of navigated you around the screen, showed you a lot of the tools, you should be able to follow these instructions here on the left. So working your way through. Now it's referring to a blank die shape in the shapes panel. We know where the shapes panel is. That's over here. And if we scroll through there, we should be able to find a dice. There it is down the bottom. Click on it once, remember, and bring it into your screen. And in this case, they give you an outline of where to place it. Once you've done that, click on Next. And just follow those instructions like so, as I just said there, and explore and have some fun with TinkerCAD.